Brad Williams, Frugal Finance, effective annual interest rate. What is the effective annual interest rate? Take into consideration compounding. What do I mean by compounding? If you're earning something in terms of interest on, I don't know, let's say on a CD that they're paying quarterly interest, what is that effective annual interest rate? Well, the effective annual interest rate is a way to understand how much you're really receiving on a loan or investment when the interest is compounded more frequently than once a year. Imagine you have a bank account where they add interest to your balance every few months, not just once a year. To figure out what annual interest rate would be equivalent to this more frequent compounding, use the effective annual interest rate. Remember when I pointed out how egregious credit card companies and their continuous compounding on a daily rate? They show an 18% rate, but what's the effective annual interest rate? 19.57. Same situation here. That's all we're talking about. Effective annual interest rate. It's like finding out what yearly rate of interest matches the rate you're actually either paying or getting. For example, let's say you're told your nominal interest rate is 12%. I used 18% for that credit card company. It could be higher, it could be lower. This is compounded every quarter, every 3 months. That means each quarter your money grows by 3%. If you invest $1 for a year at this rate with the interest compounding quarterly, you end up with $1.1255. Find out what annual interest rate would give you the same result. Use a formula. 103 to the fourth minus 1 is equal to 12.55 or 12.55%. We've gone over this, but I just wanted to differentiate between the nominal, 12%, the effective. So what does it all mean? Well, with Excel, it's really simple. You just use the effect function. Type in 12, this is semi-annual, number of periods. All we have to do is go here, nominal, 12, number of periods, 2. Simple enough. And then if you don't want to do it that way, you can just use the formula up here. We have a simple formula. 12 divided by 2 plus 1, 2. How many periods are there? 2. Here we have monthly. So all we're going to change this is to 12. Here's the math. Daily, we're going to change this to 365. Notice the difference? Annual, 12. Daily, 12.75. Ouch. So when you're reading notation on your investments, or if you're negotiating, you always want to receive daily compounded rate. How many people are going to understand what I'm talking about? Not many, but those that understand will always try to negotiate this. Here we go. Here's that nasty 18% credit card. 18, 365. Here we looked at 12. Again, we're just looking at this 1275. I don't know why. Something probably pissed me off about credit cards. Oh, 18% effective. Then I don't know why I have 1275 here, but just go with it. You borrow $1,000 and pay off the loan with interest after 4.5 years. The amount paid was $1,500. What was the effective annual rate for this transaction? Waiting the interest period be a 6-month period. It is seen that the payment of $1,500 and the debt of $1,000 are related by the expression F1 plus I of N, number of 6-month periods equals 4.5 times 2. Why? 4.5 years, semi-annual, 9. You always need to figure that out. Thus, here we have 1,500 equals 1,000, 1 plus I to the 9th. We're just going to compute this. We're solving for I. Again, you're going to have to do some, well, you don't have to do it. You can just copy paste this. You can see the algebra here. See, we're trying to solve for this I right here. So in order to do that, we have I is equal to 1,500 divided by 1,000 to, notice, 1 divided by 4.5 minus 1. That's what you have to do in simple algebra. And we have a rate of 9.43, 943. That's the effective rate. Taking the logarithm, dividing both sides by 1,000 gives 150 equals 1 plus I to the 9th. Taking the logarithm of both sides, log 1.5 equals log 9. I know I've lost you now. 1761, log of 1.5, 1.96, P88. Divide this by C89. 461 equals 943. You're going, what the hell? That's how you compute it. Just did this right here. Here's this computation. And if it's foreign to you, your computer breaks, you don't know logs, well, I suggest you go buy a basic algebra book and go back to the fundamentals. I have 3 algebra books and I use them all the time. For God's sakes, I don't remember this stuff, nor do I even want to try to remember. Having this stuff available when maybe your electricity goes out and you don't have a generator. If you're in a hurricane zone or a tornado zone or who knows, an earthquake zone, and you lose juice, what are you going to do? Well, without a book to fall back on, your smartphone and AI is not going to solve this for you. Dividing both sides by 9 and taking the anti-log. No, I'm speaking foreign language to a lot of you, but this is what you need to do. Dividing both sides by 9 and taking the anti-log of 10 to the power of, the results provide relation annual interest rate yield. So we did this. We took 1 plus 0.046 minus 1 is going to equal this. If we take this, edit, copy, escape, paste, equals, this will probably blow up on me like everything else within Excel, sure. 109246 a second. There you go, folks. 94116. Do this, 941. Probably got a rounding error. No big deal. This should be cut and paste, edit, paste. And I'm sure there's a rounding error here, but you kind of get the gist. So the effective annual interest rate, they're saying 943. I guess I probably could clean this up. 046, see right here, we have 461. If I went 461 equals, see how minute this is just by missing 1,000, knock this out of order. With that being said, let's move on. The effective annual interest rate is 943. The modern approach, I gotta admit that some of the stuff I use is old school, but there's a reason why. I don't want to use this old stuff, but sometimes I have to teach it. Why? Because you have to have alternatives available. I don't want you to remember this stuff. I want you to remember where it is in the event that you need it. Okay, we have a loan of 1,000. We have periods 9. We have total principal interest of 1,500. This is given. So 6-month interest rate is 461. So we can take rate C102, which is the number of periods. We have $1,000 and 1,500. Going to give us 461. We want the annual effective rate 1 plus 0.46 to the second minus 1. Isn't that a hell of a lot easier than going through this log? And then we have, this is repeat. This is just the same thing as before. It's the same as this. What I did here is I just referenced this information. I hard coded it here. All right. There are some people out there say you never hard code. I say poo-poo to those folks. Sometimes you want to hard code stuff. The reason being, especially for me when I'm teaching, I want you to see what we're trying to accomplish here. If I do it this way, you know how hard it is. Now we have to go C102, no. All right, so I hard code this so you could see what the heck I'm doing. 9, which is, all you got to do is press this, number of periods, and we know there's no payment. We got a present value. I know, I go over this a million times and a million times again. And then 1,500. There's a reason for this repetitiveness. It's so you can see the pattern. If you want to do it traditional, 461, then 943. And all we're doing here, keep in mind what we're trying to do. Notice the notation. This is critical. And you're going to make a lot of mistakes when you do it this way. But what are we trying to do? We're just trying to go 1/4 minus 1. As you remember, we went up here and we used those log stuff. Well, we were following that same pattern. 1,500 divided by 1,000 to 1/4, 4.5 minus 1. That's just the math. There's no way to wiggle around it. Just keep that in mind. Brad Williams, Frugal Finance. Thanks for watching.